So my presentation and my topic, it's on the end, uh, not the end, sorry. It's the link between the arts and wellness and how it all happened with the arrival of the Renaissance period. So basically we have the end of the medieval time, and then we have the beginning of the Renaissance, and then something happened that set off a ripple effect for the rest of societies and arriving at what we have now today. Basically, the beginning of the Renaissance set the foundation for the world that we have today. Um, well, let's begin with a comparison. We have medieval mindset, medieval lifestyle, the way they lived, the way they saw things, and then we have everything else that came afterwards. The medieval mindset was very religious. It was very muted lifestyle. If you put it on a EKG, it would be a flat line if you think about it. For many centuries, societies didn't really experiment. They didn't really explore within themselves. It was all based on religion. It was all based on what they could do for the church, and the church dictated their lifestyles entirely. It left no room for ambition. It left no room for curiosity. It left no room for self-exploration, which is essential for a person in order to be balanced. If you're going to apply the dimensions of wellness and everything that it takes to be well as a human being, to feel healthy, to feel good, to feel balanced, medieval times were not ideal for humans then. Everything, not everything, but most things that were happening at the time and the way that their lifestyle was set, a lot of it went against human nature. We would be told no and no and no constantly by these guidelines that were put on us, and basically we were told to shut down all of our emotions, all of our desires. And well, it all changed with the Renaissance, thankfully. But now that we have said that, how did the Renaissance come to be? Well, it was actually a monk who started to, it was Francesco Plutarch, started to study the writings of classical Roman writers and philosophers from ancient Greece. He started to study Plato, Aristotle, Cicero from Italy, and he started to realize that there was more out there. There was more in the world than just the world in which they lived in at the time. And he's considered the father of the humanist movement, even though he wasn't just the only one. Now, humanism, basically, that's where it all starts. And it all starts with the idea of me and what I need to do for me and what I can do for the rest of the world. And that's basically the starting point for the Renaissance. A lot of people, they associate the Renaissance time with only art and the paintings and sculptures and Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and they don't stop to think about the ripple effect that this had for everything else, including science. And from then on, we have a tree that branches out till we reach our time, and all of our technological advances and everything on the medical field, psychology, philosophy, it all started or restarted with the Renaissance, which after all that's it means rebirth. So we have a timeline for a human mindset and for lifestyle and for a way that humans did things. For many years, the ancient times, it came and then it stopped. Then we have about 10 centuries of medieval time where nothing happened. Humans went nowhere other than to find an extreme devotion to religion. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're born again. Society finds rebirth. They find the Renaissance, and then it starts all over again. They start to find the pleasures in life. They start to find what it is that they desired. They start to find their own ambitions and how to explore more, how to expand their mind their knowledge. So all of this is great news, right? So all of a sudden there's a world of opportunities, and everybody's just waiting to dig in. And basically, hold on just 1 second. All right. So an example on scientific. Uh, well, the first it started with a study of the human body, whether it is for painting, for a drawing, it doesn't matter. All of a sudden, we find that it is okay to want to enjoy looking at a human form. It's that simple. I'm going to paint a picture, that's fine, but I want it to be realistic, so I want to study every curve, every shadow, every vein, and all of a sudden we have the ability to, not the ability, we have the desire to go further and start to study the body on the inside. So they start to dissect the bodies, which from then it starts to apply to the medical field. So now they have an understanding of how the body looks, but not just that, how the body works, what makes it react, what makes it tick, what makes it better, what makes it worse. All of a sudden we start to look at our own bodies and what all we can do with it. And from then on, um, scientists or individuals started to look more into different fields. And then we have Galileo with his observation of the universe, questioning the church and everything that was going on. And basically, that's when it starts to clash. So we have religion saying one thing, and we have these people exploring as scientists, looking at hard evidence and no longer wanting to look at what a religious book says, but they were looking at what they can see. So the power of observation becomes a huge thing for everybody, not just artists, but for writers, painters, sculptors, musicians, um, doctors, scientists, everybody. They start to base their work on the power of observation and hard evidence. And this is essential because this sets the foundation for research in general. So from then on, whenever somebody is going to try to find something, or they're going to do research, or they're trying to explore and experiment, it's all based on their own observation and their hard evidence on what they find. And that is just essential for the development of the human brain and the human mind. So basically, um, this all relate to wellness because um, it is needed. Humanity cannot move forward. They cannot move forward without that inner desire to experiment and that inner desire to be curious and to want to be more and to want to explore more and to have that hunger for knowledge and that hunger to expand your own mind. That is essential for the mind, for the mental wellness dimension, which connects to them all. It's all about wanting to find a balance. Correct. We have all the dimensions that they all play together to bring that balance in life that gives us that sense of perfect wellness, and that's what we do through our life. We are sponges, right? So we try to attract and we try to fill our voids with as many details as we can, and they should all have an equal balance throughout our lives on the physical aspect, the mental aspect, the spiritual aspect. It all needs to play together. One cannot have more than the other. And it starts with this. Their ideal, the idea of a Renaissance man. Back then, we have Da Vinci as a prime example. Some say that he basically started the whole thing. So we have someone who all of a sudden wants to do everything that a person can do. So he's pushing his own limits. He wants to be a great scientist. He wants to be a great mathematician. So he wants to be a great painter. He wants to be um, he wants to be able to heal people like a doctor would. He's an inventor. So all of a sudden we have someone who's willing to push their own limits that far. And that's just great because what it does is that it inspires everybody else to want to do the same thing. So all of a sudden people are not finding limitations. They're willing to explore and they're willing to push their own limitations. They're willing to learn and they're willing to discover everything, not just about themselves, but about everything else. So we enter into a whole new level that expands the wellness of the society in general even more, because now we have everybody. We have all of these new generations that are all of a sudden are looking to do this. They're looking to learn and expand, and that's basically how we got to where we are today. Now, one example is just from the art point of view, but here we have your basic. This is your basic medieval painting. It's flat, not a lot of perspective, barely any perspective. It's not very vibrant. The theme obviously is religious. It lacks detail. It lacks a lot of items other than the ones necessary to portray what is being portrayed. And then we have what's considered the very first painting for. Thought I could change it, but the first painting for the Renaissance period, because it is the very first one that shows a perfect use of perspective. So now all of a sudden artists are looking to expand what they knew about capturing the realism, and they are making it they are taking it further. So something as simple as adding perspective to a painting and adding more colors and adding more items and then adding a human body, but not just a human body, a naked body of a female that has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. All of a sudden we have Greek mythology being thrown into the mix. So that's letting everybody know that this is in the direction that they're going. And I just figure I lack visual aids on this presentation, and this is one that I thought I would show just to show an idea of what the mindset in one side and the expression in the art from that mindset, and how on the other side we have the art that results on that mindset. So we already talked about the ideal Renaissance man. So let's talk about the balance in wellness and ambition, basically. Someone who is not ambitious can never push for changes. And that's how you end up on a 10, 11 centuries of nothing ever going on. Because people are just not willing to experiment, and they're not willing to push for that change that they need. So by allowing your inner desires and allowing your ambition to go in that direction, you're pushing not just you, but you're pushing change for all of the societies to move towards something bigger, something better. Better political systems, better medical discoveries, better scientific discoveries, and society grows. When society grows, the wellness of the society overall starts to expand as well, and then everybody starts to move towards one common goal, but not just the common goal of everybody in that society, but also their own. So they start to look at what they need as individuals in order to be better and in order to do better with their own lives. So all of a sudden, we're not anymore looking at the big picture based on religion. We're looking at the big picture based on us as individuals in this world. Now, we start to look at the reality on art and how it applies to society and the wellness. Well, if we have a period that starts to change, so all of a sudden we've already rediscovered that our sense of devotion and our sense of beauty and our sense of self exploration, all of a sudden we start to push it further, and now we start to look at realism. We have to look at how society starts to change, and all of a sudden we discover a brand new world, and we are faced with a whole new continent, new civilizations, new cultures, and then there's a lot more changes. So people start to look to expand that reality in their lives, and it all starts to affect the arts as well. So they no longer start to paint just a beautiful scenery. Now they start to paint the reality of their societies and the things that are starting to go wrong, the things that start to go right. And then the philosophical ideas start to get pushed. And then we have several civil wars and several revolutions going on because everybody is pushing their ideas on each other, and no one is finding the middle ground in these situations. But overall, at least, they still have the freedom to further explore other alternatives, and they put a higher baseline to their ambitions. Even if it affects those around them, we still have an overall development on the societies, which is still moving forward, and more things are being rediscovered, and then we enter an industrial evolution, and the art changes again. So all of a sudden, the artists, they feel that they feel they need to start to go against the standards, and this is a very interesting thing because it goes with the times as well, and everything that's going on these societies at this point. The 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 monarchies and the political system of having a king or a one sole ruler for many years is starting to change. So we start to establish a a baseline for what the people are now wanting to get out of their own lives. So everything changes now. All the dimensions of wellness, they're still there, they still apply, but it's getting expanded. Now artists are not just creating art about what they think is pretty or what they think someone will enjoy. Now they're starting to include the reality of things, what's wrong with societies, what's going on. They start to include their own ideas and their own expressions, and they start to fight with their art and with the writings. And art basically becomes about the artist, and it's no longer about art. And it's slowly degraded in detail. Art no longer follows a specific form, and then we have one prime example is self-expressionism, which was started in the 1930s. All of a sudden, we have artists who are just going nuts on the canvas with the paints and the paintbrushes, and they're just throwing their feelings and everything they feel that is wrong with society onto the canvas, and that's their out. That's the way that they express themselves. So art becomes a form of therapy for what's going on. And once more, we see the connection with the wellness. The mindset at this time, it's very fragile. We have societies, we have communities and countries that are recovering from World War One, we are going into the second one, and afterwards we have the Vietnam War, and then we have civil wars everywhere. So humans right now are in a very fragile state, and this is how they're doing it. They're expressing all of this through the art, and that's where the connection falls. And once more, we see how everything that's happening in the society affects the mindset of the um, of the people in the society themselves, and then we start to see a reflection of that in how they express themselves through the arts, through the music, through the writings. I mean, it's all in the arts either way. Now, on a good note, aside from that, thanks to what started on the Renaissance, we also have the the men started to question more and more. So this allowed for a lot of discoveries, especially on the technological field, which it all connects with the medical field, and then on. And nowadays we have basically just anything that anybody needs. We have more than what we need, and everything is provided for. And we have cell phones, and we have fitness trackers, and apps, and computers, and just about anything to help on the path to a perfect balanced life, right? Or you would think that going this far, we would be on the path to a good life. Yet we struggle more than ever to connect with each other, and we struggle more than ever to achieve a well balanced lifestyle. We're talking from a physical point of view. Obesity is at its highest. Mental illnesses are becoming more and more common. People are no longer interacting with each other in person anymore. They struggle. They have social anxiety, and everybody is relying entirely on technology to do anything. And even the art has turned into digital art, where people don't uh, don't don't push themselves to want to learn anything anymore. They rather have something like a program do it for them. So even the art is getting affected, and it started to a point where now you have an artist just leaving a blank canvas, putting it in front of you, and telling you this is my work of art. So is it a futuristic form of expression, or is it just plain laziness? And that's what it's gotten to. It's gotten to a point where now society has everything set. So everything is done for you, or you have gadgets and things that do it for you, so you no longer have to try. So we've gone from a time of discovery and a time of rebirth to a time of just pure laziness, I guess. And well, as I was saying, nowadays the hardest thing is to keep that balance and to apply that balance to life. And well, all dimensions must come at once. A healthy lifestyle is based on the choices that you make as an individual, and how you link yourself to the society and to the community in which you live in. You must have a well balanced nutrition. You must have a well balanced exercise, um, but also you must be able to appreciate the surroundings that you have. You must, you should, everybody should take time to enjoy, like they did back then, to enjoy the surroundings and to enjoy the beauty of life. And if you want to write, write. If you can paint, paint. But dedicate time to yourself, and don't let yourself get consumed by everything else, because the power of you and the power of what you can do for you, it's um, it's better and it's more powerful than anything else. And the hunger for knowledge and the hunger for self-exploration should never go away, because that is the only thing that will get you there. That is the only thing that will get you to a step further in your own wellness. And I know I went a little bit off topic. I just wanted to establish a bigger timeline on how it all starts and how it applies to different aspects of society. So I hope this was good enough, and I hope I answered everything. And if there's anything else that I need to do, then please just let me know, and I will resubmit it, or I will write an essay about it. So thank you.